Welcome back to the IBFP. Here's your host, Foxy New.
Welcome back, fight fans. Welcome back. Bob Arum says Anthony Joshua has no chin. So you know what? We're going to break this down like we always do, and we're going to separate facts from feelings, facts from opinions, facts from hate, facts from myths. It's only facts that we're going to go by, and we're going to judge Anthony Joshua's chin in line with the rest of his contemporaries. So let's just break it down. And we dig into Bob Arum's statement right away, and he specifically says, and I quote, "He has no chin. I knew Andy Ruiz prior to his first fight with Anthony Joshua. Every one of Ruiz's fights except one previous to that, Alexander Dimitriko, was promoted by us. So we are experts on Andy Ruiz. We know how good he is. We know what he lacks. We know how fast his hands are, and he has a pretty good chin, but he's not a knockout guy. Trust me. Look at his record. He fought a lot of ham and eggers and couldn't knock them out." Now, to be fair to Andy Ruiz, in comparison to Bob Arum's statement, if you knew his weaknesses, you knew his strengths, if you knew everything about Andy Ruiz, then if you felt like he wasn't a great fighter, but he went out and became a unified heavyweight champion of the world, the egg was on Bob Arum's face at the end of the day, simply because he proved them wrong. But he's saying that, the only reason he did that is because Anthony Joshua had no chin. So let's see if Anthony Joshua really has a chin by comparing him to all of the people in the same weight class, in the same division, and to see if these guys measure up the same as Anthony Joshua. So let's see. And we start with Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder is not known or called for having a weak chin. No one says Deontay Wilder has a weak chin. If anything, people say he has a tough chin. He's hard to knock out. These are the things that people say about Deontay Wilder. When the funny thing is, Deontay Wilder was dropped by Harold Sconiers, a guy with a 23% knockout rate. This is a guy who has 18 wins and 27 losses. 18 wins, 27 losses, and a 23% knockout rate. So, I'm pretty sure that Andy Ruiz Jr. is a bigger puncher than Harold Sconiers. And I'm also sure, with an accumulation of shots from Andy Ruiz, is going to be more effective than a Harold Sconiers. Let's be honest and unbiased. Deontay Wilder was dropped by Harold Sconiers, but he's not labeled as having no chin or a weak chin. That's just rhetoric. And then, you also see, when we break it down, a lot of people don't understand is that Anthony Joshua wasn't knocked out. He wasn't put to sleep against Andy Ruiz Jr. A lot of people like to have revisionist history on that. Anthony Joshua was stopped on his feet by the referee. Every time he got knocked down by Andy Ruiz Jr., he literally got up. If that doesn't show you a strong chin, I don't know what does. Being knocked down in itself and not being able to get up, not being able to recuperate, that says something about your chin. But Amir Khan, for example, when he gets dropped, he doesn't get back up most of the time. Most of the time, Amir Khan is put to sleep. So to say that Anthony Joshua has no chin when, he was stopped by Andy Ruiz, but he literally got up from every single one of his shots, shows you that his chin is there. And then you even get some fanboys that say he quit, which makes no sense, because even the referee himself said Anthony Joshua did not quit. See, all of this is AJ hate. You got a lot of fanboys that come out, and you know what? They can't separate facts from opinions, facts from feelings, and they just hate on the guy simply because they don't like him. And you don't have to be a fan of Anthony Joshua to be honest and unbiased, to just follow the facts and let them lead you to where they are. At the end of the day, Anthony Joshua didn't quit, and Anthony Joshua wasn't knocked out cold. At the end of the day, he got up from literally every single one of those shots. He was obviously concussed. He was obviously buzzed, and that's pretty much where it ends. And then, you use his other contemporaries as of note to see if these other top heavyweights have a chin. So, we pretty much looked into Deontay Wilder a little bit, being dropped by a guy like Harold Sconiers, a guy who has a 23% knockout rate, who's not known as a puncher at all. So what does that say about Andy Ruiz? That makes him look like the best puncher in the world compared to Harold Sconiers. But, you also seen Deontay Wilder dropped by Tyson Fury. And Tyson Fury was also known as pillow hands. Many people believe that Andy Ruiz had better power than Tyson Fury. They called Tyson Fury pillow hands, a guy that would never be able to hurt Deontay Wilder. And yet, you see what happened. Tyson Fury couldn't stop Otto Wallin But, he stopped Deontay Wilder. Does that mean Deontay Wilder has a weak chin? Let's be honest and unbiased. We have to keep the same energy we have with Anthony Joshua with everyone else. And then you see Tyson Fury getting dropped himself. You see, we have to use guys' contemporaries. He got dropped himself by Steve Cunningham. Steve Cunningham who has a 33% knockout rate. This guy is nowhere near the level of an Andy Ruiz Jr. Doesn't have the power, hand speed, or anything that could cause the same problems, and yet he dropped Tyson Fury. Does Tyson Fury has a weak chin? See, guys have to be honest and unbiased, because Anthony Joshua was never put to sleep by Andy Ruiz, and same as, Tyson Fury being put to sleep. Same as, even Deontay Wilder not being put to sleep per se. So if all of these guys had the same type of, droppages and things like that, why is Anthony Joshua labeled with the weak chin? We got to be honest and unbiased. And then we look at the other best heavyweights in the division. All guys known for having a solid, strong chin. You look at Dillian White, good chin. Joseph Parker, good chin. Andy Ruiz, good chin, and yet all three of these guys have been down on the canvas before. So just being knocked down on the canvas doesn't mean you have a weak chin. Even being stopped in the fight necessarily doesn't mean you have a weak chin. When you face elite and top competition, you're going to get hurt at times. We got to be honest and unbiased, and especially in the heavyweight division, where any punch can change the fight. See, the heavyweight division is unlike any other division in boxing. Any guy on any night can have the power to hurt you. And a lot of people don't understand that. Heavyweight boxing is not classed like the rest of boxing simply because any shot on any night can hurt anyone. And that's pretty much it. I mean, look at Ruiz. People said he couldn't get hurt. Look at Parker. He couldn't get hurt. Dillian White, he couldn't get hurt. And all three of these guys have been down on the canvas before. And this is so Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, Joseph Parker, Andy Ruiz, all of these guys have tasted the canvas before. So all of the top heavyweights in the world have been down on the canvas, but we want to label arguably the best heavyweight in the division, a unified champion, a guy who's faced better opposition than everyone in the heavyweight division. As a guy with no chin, it makes no sense. We got to be honest and unbiased. And then, we've seen Anthony Joshua dropped by Vladimir Klitschko. And, he was dropped clean and flush. And yet Anthony Joshua turns around, gets up, and stops Klitschko. He gets up and stops Klitschko. This shows you that he has not only a lot of heart, he has a strong chin, a good chin, because being dropped in and of itself, didn't show what his chin was made up. The fact he was able to get up and finish off an elite opponent, a Hall of Fame opponent, a guy who stopped many other fighters, it shows you Anthony Joshua does not have a weak chin. And I think at the end of the day, a lot of guys like to say this about Anthony Joshua simply because they're in their feelings, because they don't like him, because they have they want Fury to be the best, Wilder to be the best. And it doesn't matter who you believe the best is, but there's no need to hate on the guy and make up things about his chin, because at the end of the day, Anthony Joshua's chin is battle tested. He's fought some big punchers and not been dropped. He fought Dillian White, who has an elite level left hook, who's one hell of a puncher, and he didn't go down. He got stunned with a shot, but he didn't let it affect him to the point where he was unable to continue, where he tasted the canvas. He walked through that shot. So people don't give him credit for that. People don't give him credit for being in a puncher with a guy like Alexander Povetkin. Never hit the canvas. Never tasted the canvas against another big puncher. That's two big punchers he's went in with and never tasted the canvas. People act like Anthony Joshua literally gets dropped every single fight. Guys are perpetrating this myth because they don't like Anthony Joshua, because they're not being honest and unbiased. At the end of the day, Anthony Joshua is an elite level heavyweight. He's arguably the best heavyweight. He's a unified champion, 2-time, and you don't get there by having a weak chin. At the end of the day, Anthony Joshua has proven this to be an absolute myth. But once again, unbiased as always is the IBFP.